So on a daily basis with Mark, we are collecting saliva samples. So I'm working with Joe Dunbar, who's one of the leading physiologists back in the UK that's been monitoring saliva and immunity in the relationship with immunity profile over the last few years. And Soma Bioscience, who he works with, have sponsored us with some kits. So every morning Mark will put a saliva swab into his mouth on top of his tongue when he wakes up, and that collects a sample of saliva. And then later on, like once a week, I then collect that data, and I'll do on the moment in the camper. I'll set up sort of how I test it, and what I'm looking at is salivary IgA, amylase and cortisol levels, so a mixture of proteins and stress hormone, to actually see if there's a trend over time during this expedition, to see whether he's starting to drop off immune profile wise, which we'd expect in ultra endurance, but also the impact of where his stress hormones, so cortisol levels, are. And the classic is this week we've turned up in Australia, and his cortisol levels have been staying fairly high because, I mean, mentally he's trying to keep himself on it, but that means there's a lot of psychological effort with that. And when we've got into Perth, the first thing the next morning, his cortisol is pretty much one of the lowest it's been across the whole course of this journey so far. And that in itself just shows the relief potentially of, getting over stage 1, now being in Australia. The conditions were all good that day as well, so yeah, he's setting himself up for a bit more of a, hopefully, sort of relaxed stage. We haven't got as many borders or flights and things like that to sort of worry about until we get to the end of Australia. So yeah, that's what we're looking at, trying to sort of monitor. And if we do see his immunity is dropping off, which we have done, then it's about educating the team around him to be extra careful with germs and hygiene and all those sorts of bits and pieces.